Hey! Cheers, guys. It's episode 146 of the Murder Moose
Josh
podcast.
has his Thanos jacking off glove. Or his Iron Man jacking off glove.
Yeah.
Murder Moose podcast is part of the Slash and Cast motherfucking podcast network. And you know what?
It's in the game.
No, it's in the motherfucking game.
It's in the motherfucking game. I'm going to make you a voice recording going, it's in the motherfucking game.
My poor virgin ears.
Your poor front page ears that can't hear these kind of language.
I can't hear the fucking swears.
Josh!
I swear to God, Josh!
What?
For those of you listening and not watching, Josh is intentionally making me absolutely insane with my camera because
and also
my new camera does not want to focus correctly.
Josh is like making me have like, I think
You
I have
look
brain
awesome,
trauma.
Kin. I love it.
She's like Ant-Man of the stream. She keeps getting bigger and smaller and bigger and smaller and bigger and smaller.
My
There.
face is so
See, I can center Kin, but I can't center Rod. He's uncenterable.
Won't do that.
I'm in the center. You are Josh's fire. Josh
The
will
one.
put you everywhere. God, Josh, you're gonna give all the people what? Sometimes I wonder, like, if Josh really just doesn't want to do the podcast anymore, and this is his way of showing us. He's like, I can't just quit. I'm just going to make them fire me by like.
Yeah, right.
Josh is like, man, I'm gonna drive these two insane, and that will do everything.
This is my job, okay? It's been 146 episodes, and if it hasn't gotten to this point yet, I know my part of the show is to just fuck with you guys and create a whole bunch of memes from it, and that's it, right?
That's it.
Memeable content.
Memeable
It's in
content
the
is
game.
nice. It's in the game.
It's in the game.
It's in the game because Josh is in the game. Okay, but we know Josh is ADHD and losing his mind. Ken, how are you, dear?
I'm fabulous. I'm very sleepy because when am I not? But I'm fabulous.
I hear that because, yes, I am also very tired. But, yes, it is.
I
Tuesday.
want to sleep right now, but I don't. It's not. I don't know. I'm like, it's like, oh, I got to do this one last thing. But then there's like a few other things that I might have to do after this, and now I'm whatever.
That's me. Every time I walk into the room, I'm like, that needs to be put up. That needs a home. That needs to be put up. Where's that going to go? And then I'm like, all right, I got everything done. Oh, I covered some stuff I had to do with a blanket to pretend it didn't exist.
That's an ADHD thing.
It really is. I had the entire couch covered with blankets because I was like, I just don't want to see all this stuff that needs to be put up. So
That's like out of sight, out of mind. Like, that's why.
I do
also,
that with drawers. Every
Yeah.
drawer that is pretty much a top drawer in my house is the ADHD stuffer drawer. It's like, oh, it fits in there. It doesn't matter anymore. It's
why
clean.
when people move
Just
shit
don't look in any
like
drawer.
from where I'm used to seeing them, it's just a nightmare. It's just like, oh, I'm never gonna find it. I'm gonna forget that it exists.
But those
It's
are
like,
that's an ADHD pile. Like, those are things, that's controlled chaos. If it's someone else's pile,
Exactly.
it makes no sense to an ADHD person, and it has to go in a drawer or go away because I can't see it. It doesn't make sense to me. But my pile, I know everything that's in it, and it's controlled chaos.
it's hilarious because I'll finish a stream and I'll get up and I'll be like, what the fuck happened? Like, I'm in this one spot, but there's already a circle of stuff. Like every stream. And so then I get up and I clean everything up and I organize it. And the next day I'm like, right now, I've been here for what, 15, 20 minutes? There's boxes beside me.
it's like Ken is the magical purse Hermione has in the Harry Potter movies, where she's like, just like, this is like shit
Are
falling
you
out
saying
of her.
my vagina is a purse, Rod?
Here, I'll sharpen you.
It's a-
like
it's a
crazy
meat
so you
purse.
look like you're in focus, Kin.
It's a
Thank
meat
you.
purse. It's a meat.
It's a ham wallet.
It's better than calling it an Arby's roast beef sandwich, isn't it?
Meow, meow. Yes.
Meow meow.
You're so sharp, I can make you bigger, and you're
Meow.
still in focus.
Meow mix, please deliver. God, this
I
is
want
going
chicken. I want liver. Meow mix, please deliver.
This is all like I've been playing Yakuza like a dragon, and you just for some reason the last 2 Yakuza games they're like, oh yeah, you can just like run around and find cats randomly all over because these cat owners, one, they all have like 27 cats, and two, then that's like they always lose their cats in Yakuza games, and now so you have to go around. Josh, God damn it, Josh, what are you doing? You fucking
You look
maniac?
fantastic.
Ken is going to drive to Canada and murder you.
No,
And
she's
then
going to
she's
drive
gonna-
to Canada and have some tea.
And that's a callback from last week's episode.
Hey,
Just
na,
so you
na,
know.
na, 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 hey, ho.
Josh,
Wait, we talked about tea last week?
we talked about tea bagging last week.
Oh, that's right. Okay.
And that you were going to fly to Canada to get tea bagged by Josh, I think was what the
Yes.
joke.
Yes.
Nice day.
Mental notes.
Cheers.
Fucking hell, man. Josh, you and your Iron Man jerk off glove. How are you?
Oh, I've just been busy, man. I don't even know what day it is because I don't normally have to work on weekends, but I had a bunch of shit hit the fan and had to work every day this weekend as well. And now
Yeah.
I'm so
You're like
just
you
get
don't
up
know
and
what
like
you,
do the same thing now. I'm like, wait, what day is it? Huh?
what
I
What
don't.
day is it?
I didn't realize how much I do just check out on the weekends and just like reset. It's a weird thing
Yeah.
to have to work both days and not really realize that I do
Yeah.
that. Shit.
My existence, especially now that I'm getting ready to start doing my Sundays at 7 a.m.s, days just blend. The only thing that keeps my
Yes.
days on track is the podcast, and we've been moving it around a lot on on all of us. So now I'm like, I don't know what day it is.
Yeah.
But I like.
I
that
have to,
we
like,
can
Ask
be-
it on stream. Like, what day is today?
Like Mondays are good, but you know, to be.
Oh no, I
able
love
to
that we're
be-
being flexible. Don't.
Yeah,
Yeah, no,
that's good.
that wasn't me being like, ugh, no.
I was just like at some point I was like we went like over a month I think with not recording on Mondays because of stuff coming up, and I'm like, and then we did last Monday, and now we're back to Tuesday. It's just
because of you,
chaos.
Rod.
I know. Me and my
All your
adventures.
fault.
Me and my adventures. Do. It is all my fault. It's all your fault, Dad. You taught me to do this. You taught me to make weird arm doors that people suck weird blood out of. This is
Oh,
Brandon.
for
it
a
was
second, I was really confused, but now I'm on path.
It was a Cronenberg comment.
Cronenberg. I have a great quote by him, by the way. Whenever we get
Okay.
into it,
So I have to say, I Silly was like, I wonder if he's doing anything yet, and it's obviously nothing. Hollywood is shutting down because everyone's crazy, and the actors are striking
Because of the AI.
the AI and the executives who just want to keep all the money for themselves. I found a Instagram post today, and it reminded me of the world and how we got to the point where we are, where Ford back in the day, like when they were like making profit, I think this is in the 20s, Ford made a bunch of profit, and they're like, he's like, yeah, I want to raise everyone's wages, and I want to give them all this money and make cars cheaper. And then the people who had stock in Ford decided to sue him, and the judge said, no, you can't do that. You have to give all the profit to the shareholders. And 100 years later, we're in the shithole that is modern late stage capitalism. And I go, oh, this shit's been hitting the fan for a very long time. But yeah, and it kind of bummed me out. I'm like, yeah.
We like the last time this happened, the amount of TV shows that got completely like stunted, or it happened when Heroes was out actually, and
Yeah.
that was like a show that the first season was so groundbreaking, and so like this is before MCU was like big and or a thing
Yep.
really, and it was like it had so much potential, and then the writer's strike just fucked that show so hard. It
Yeah.
didn't recover.
Well,
I saw somebody today on TikTok. There's a guy that I follow that I really like who reviews movies. He does some movie reviews, but he basically shows like what's streaming for free on different platforms, horror related. And he was talking about that he has been asked, like, that influencers have been asked, primarily the influencers that are getting paid, to stop covering current movies because it's, you know, contributing to more marketing for what they're doing. And I was like, that's really interesting. He was like, I'm still going to cover old movies, but
I mean,
I was like, interesting.
I think Katie Peters was supposed to go to Comic-Con and canceled to like not like help out, like I mean to help out and not like fuck over the writers and actors and stuff. So yeah, it's man, we're the
yeah,
point
but the movies
and,
that are out right now have already been the writers have been paid for. Like the movies that are in development right now are the ones. that we
that's why it's even more reason not to go support them, Josh, because then the writers have been paid. Guess who's not getting money when you don't go see the movies? The fucking executives and all that shit. Because as we know, all they do anyways is figure out ways to fuck them. Dude, I was seeing something about how the guy who wrote Men in Black has never been like made it any extra money from it. Like that the studios bullshit. The studios do this shit. I never known about this. They charge marketing back to themselves. So it's like they're like, oh, we did this much in marketing. And like the movie did, but like it was them, and so basically they're like it's these hoops they jump through to make it look like they lost money when they didn't. It's like oh yeah, the marketing was this much, we paid the marketing, but it was them, and so they make it look like they lose money with this shit so that they could fuck people like on writers and like actors and shit on like
a lot of businesses do that. A lot, especially like smaller businesses will do that. Because as long as they show a loss each year, then something with taxes. But yeah, a lot of businesses do that.
I mean, that's how people like Trump never pay taxes, right? Like they claim losses because it's like you jump through hoops and like put a bunch of like expenses, and then they're like, oh yeah, okay, you can pay $5 for taxes. That's how The system, and this Hollywood is just the prime example of it now, is the cards are all stacked for the people who make all the money. And so
the 1%er.
Yeah, it's not even 1%ers at this point. It's like the 0.1, like the tenth of a percenters who like just have all the money. The people like Elon Musk who have, who
the people
that
are
it's in the game.
It's in the game. Who have so much money that they can buy Twitter and then shit directly in its mouth because $44 billion isn't worth like anything, to them. That's how fucked up this world is, and we can't increase minimum wage. We can't we can't pay people properly. We can't pay writers, or we can't pay because these motherfuckers need every single penny, because if they have a billion and one penny, they're so much better off than they just have a billion. That's like how it's like every penny counts to these fucking greedy bastards.
This is a Rod rant, by the way.
It is.
Rant 2023.
I mean, I just hate the world and how much money that like people expect to make, and how I think my running philosophy as of like the last little while is that all the people who are like the boomers, baby boomers or whatever, the people that like have all the money now, which I heard they have like the amount of wealth they own is just, I saw something about it the other day that's like the number like blew my mind. They were all raised by like the people who survived like the Great Depression, and so they were all taught just hoard as much as you can, and here we are now where like hoarding as much as you can means just fucking over every other person that you can, because the world's only about you, baby. The world's only about you, and it's just like as
what do you
species,
think? You don't want to know what I think.
I like this view.
My degree is in economics. You don't want to know what I think.
As a species, I think if we don't figure out how to work together better and make it about us instead of me, we're fucked. We're completely fucked. It's a. If you ever watch the Orville, which I know Katie Peters does her show about, the podcast she does about it and everything, like there's an episode about how like they can't help planets because when they help planets and things go wrongly, they just can wipe out entire. God damn it, Josh! Would you like pay attention to the podcast instead of doing whatever? And that's like we're at that point, right?
This is amazing.
So just for the record, like jumping back just a little, as far as you don't want to hear what I have to say, it's not that I don't agree with you. It's that the tangent would be far too long. So that's the only reason.
It's like Ken's like, I am a boulder. And if I start rolling down this hill, you ain't stopping me, motherfucker. You ain't stopping me. It's okay. I just do little rants. And
Sometimes you do mid-size rants.
Sometimes I do large rants. I just ran. I mean, I just there are words.
Let you.
And then you put 8 bazillion Kins on screen while you're like.
So?
Yeah. Josh, like sometimes I feel like you were meant to be like a fireworks technician or something like that. You just want to make things explode and go.
No, boom. I just want to make you explode.
And colors. I mean.
Oh my.
I mean, Josh, it sounds like Josh wants to blow me, but that's like, I could be off a little bit on that.
Yes. I don't know. That's what it sounded like to me.
Yeah, I know. That's what I said. That's what I said.
You're off.
Dave the Diver. Dave
the Diver.
And now it's
too long in the midnight sea. Oh,
God
look
damn it,
at
Josh.
all these fishies.
Oh, hey.
There's punch him, punch him, Ken.
Hey.
Punch him,
Over.
punch him.
Oh,
Bam,
crap. Oh.
bam. Punch him. Oh, fuck. Have you guys been watching anything cool besides this movie we will be speaking about shortly?
Oh, what's that fucking comedian? I'll look him up.
I watched Tom Segura's new special recently.
It's pretty good, right?
Yeah.
That's who. That's the guy. I went down his list and started watching all his Netflix specials like back to back to back, and I'm like,
I've only watched his most recent one so far.
Dude,
Jackhammer.
Yeah, he looks. When I was watching, I was like, he looks like Zeke. He looks a lot like Zeke with the.
Oh my gosh, he does.
Totally. But I like how he delivers a story and the fact that he just doesn't give a fuck. He's gonna offend you, and then he's gonna justify offending you by making you understand why you're offended, but then also fuck you because you like this, by the way, and that's offensive too. So fuck you.
What he's talking about,
And you know,
how the shower is an awkward place to meet a 6-year-old. Yeah, I'm like, oh my god, I love it.
There's a whole segment that was not aired in the Netflix special where he's talking about one of his neighbors. It's like a senator, somebody high up in the government. And he's talking about the guy like asking him what the phrase motherfucker means. Like, are you fucking your own mother? Like, how does this work? And then he talks about like young kids at some point that are like attractive. And then he drops the guy's name. For the life of me, I cannot remember his name. But I was like, oh. And he goes, this is why this wasn't included in the special. Because he posted it on TikTok. And I was like, oh my.
I liked him making fun of Bert Kreischer, like what he called him, like he was like, oh, I'm the mechanic or whatever that like that is.
I love Two Bears One Podcast or whatever.
I haven't ever listened to it. I've been meaning to, but
or Two Bears One Cave. But no, I love it, and they both do like a ton of podcasts.
Yeah.
And Tom does one with his wife, but I like Two Bears One Cave. I haven't listened to the others.
The whole story about his wife breaking her ankle or leg or whatever, or I think it was her ankle, and everyone just like looking at him like he had pushed her down the stairs.
So, okay, fun story about that. So, if you aren't familiar, I'm with my parents right now. I had gone and I had bought like a wire shelf and I had left it upstairs in the living room, and my mom moved it at night. We found this out. I thought it was me, but it was nobody's fault, to be honest. But she had moved the shelf at night, and then the next day she tripped over it and broke her hip. And it was a very, very scary experience. So all of this goes on. She's had her hip replacement. She's home. We're going through all this. Last night, my dad and I were working out in his shop. We're installing some insulation in the top so we can do some other stuff out there. And we we came inside and he's like, let's install these ballasts on the previously fluorescent lights so that we can install the LED versions. I'm like, okay. So he's standing on top of this step ladder and he's like, oh God, if I fall, I'm going to break a hip. And I was like, they already ask if you feel safe at home if another parent falls and breaks a hip that I just happen to be staying with. I don't think this is going to end well for me. So can you please not, better yet, get down? I'll do it myself.
It's like, she's like, Kin really wants her inheritance. And she's trying to speed up the process. Give me my money, bitches!
I need it now. J.G. Wentworth.
I just
877
hope everyone
cash
is doing
now.
okay. That's it. I just hope everyone is doing okay.
I hope Weasel's doing
I'm
okay. That's
doing.
what I'm really.
Yeah, Weasel's good. She's busy pushing buttons.
Yeah, that's what Weasel does. I always love when Weasel types in chat. She does sends like thought-provoking messages.
This is not me. This is Weasel. Okay.
Yeah,
Just
Josh.
know that.
Okay. Well, I think if there's anything else, we should dive into Antiviral because we've hit our about like 20 minutes of bullshit, like not normal. But we are going to talk about 2013's. It's 2013's, right? Yeah, 12. Wow. Antiviral, which is a very Canadian movie, Josh. This was shot in like Canada somewhere, right? So they were like Canada advertisements at the beginning of this movie. But it is a Brandon
Cronenberg
movie.
It's a Cronenberg.
It was his first movie, and now we've covered all 3 of his films on this podcast. Kin has been here for 2 of them.
Fucking love his old. Actually, I'm a huge Brandon Cronenberg fan because he is. It's like his because him and his dad are both doing it. His dad gets the big budgets and the big things, and he goes. It's almost like too self-indulgent. Whereas Brandon, I feel like, now he's might get more bigger budget, whatever. But this one and what's that other one called with the
Possessor? Yeah,
like those 2 movies, just aesthetically and just the narrow speck of like, they don't show a lot. Like there's not a lot of locations, but everything that is shown and all the production value that he puts into it, it's all so, I don't know, it's so specific, but it looks and feels like this universe that exists. He's good at building these crazy, creepy, weird dystopian worlds, but he does it in a way that it feels real. And this one especially feels like this is where the world could go if a few things just kind of go in a certain direction. Like the amount of people that are already obsessed with celebrity in a weird way. If they could have a part of them, they would.
I the only one watching this movie and wondering if the reason Caleb Landry Jones got the part was because he's as pale as all the white in this movie? Like, I seriously think he got what was a big. I mean, he did a good job acting in this movie. He did a great job at acting in this movie, but I felt that like his like pale aesthetic, because he's a ginger and very, very pale, and but like it goes along with everything in this film is fucking white. Like it's white.
It's stark, and it's supposed to feel clean, but then it doesn't at the same time. It's
I love it.
It's so
they
well
called
done.
it neo-noir.
Neo-noir?
Yeah.
But
that was the style of it, I suppose.
It feels like, it's like, because it's like, it's sci-fi, but it's not like Blade Runner sci-fi, right? It's just like.
It definitely had like that sci-fi, like dystopian sci-fi view and feel.
Well, Brandon does that thing where he takes, like, with this and Infinity Pool and Possessor, all 3 of them, they're very, very, very grounded films in a lot of ways where it's not that far off from where we are like now. He just amplifies something like whatever he's focusing. He amplifies that, and like it makes his worlds like very, very believable. It's like Possessor is just like it's normal whatever, but the technology for these assassins to do what they're doing is like the one thing that turns it up. Infinity Pool is like pretty much in modern whatever times, but they have the cloning technology, right? And this, it's the he's not like the machines that like make the viruses and like turn them out and do whatever they do to them. That's the thing that turns it up. So like he turned even less up in this film. It's just kind of like the celebrity obsession.
But
and
to be the first film out of the gate and it be this well thought out of a universe is so cool, and just shows that he knows what the fuck he's doing. And Possessor, I feel like took just that one next step up, because again, the aesthetic of what he did with that, like it was almost like a record player and whatever. It was like the same thing with this. He came up with all these like plot devices that felt, that's what grounds it and makes it feel like a real place, because he's like, no, it's gonna work like this and this and this, and to have those like skin grafts, and like it was like all so specific, but it all like helped aid the craziness and the horrific, the body horror stuff that him and his dad are infamous for. Or
I have a quote from him explaining his whole like philosophy, and like not philosophy, but the reasoning for doing this. He said that the idea came to him in a fever dream during a bout of illness. He was delirious, obsessing over the physicality of illness, the fact that here was something in my body and my cells that came from someone else's body. I started to think there was a weird intimacy to that connection. And afterwards, I tried to think of a character who would see this disease in that way. I thought a celebrity-obsessed fan. Celebrity culture is completely bodily obsessed. Who has the most cellulite, who has fungus feet, etc. Celebrity culture completely fetishizes the body, and so I
Rod
thought
has onion balls.
The film should also fetishize the body in a very grotesque way.
Like onion balls.
Yeah.
Well, man, it's it's funny because this will wrap around to like what we were talking about before with the fucking strike. It fetishizes it, but it also like it's another thing where like these people are like, okay, I'm gonna make money regardless of who I fuck over or what I'm gonna do. I mean, the guy who like locked him in that room was the perfect example of like, this guy goes, I don't get, you can go die. I don't give a shit about that because I get to make a bunch of money from it. And that, which by the way, the fucking, what do you call it? Needle.
The syringe?
Into the mouth was pretty gnarly.
Oh yeah. Like there's not a lot of like overly horrific parts in this. This movie almost plays out like a sci-fi drama for the majority of it, but then it turns it up a bit and gives you some of that body horror stuff. Yeah.
I have to say the bright white when he is in that room, and it is so stark. It is so stark. And at first it's very clean and like still very like, oh, there's some blood, blah, blah, blah. But towards the end of his stay in that room, and it's just dirty and but still so like it was beautiful.
It's why like that it's that reoccurring thing every time we do a movie and you get real white and then you just start pouring blood all over it. It's such a cool look. It's that like contrast, right, of like the like white with red. I mean, it's why like everyone wants a fucking one of those like horror fan things that people want or wanted for a long time is Jason like killing people in a winter camp, which is why those fan films that did that, it's a cool aesthetic. It looks cool. So like it's such a thing where like it gives you that like it just pops, right? It's just like pops so much, and that's like what you were talking about, like when he starts like spitting up blood everywhere. It's such a like and it does that, you know, that you're like, yep, that's a lot of blood. I wonder though, like especially toward the end, how the fuck that kid didn't die after like how much he's just spitting up tons of blood towards the end of this film. You're like, Also, Malcolm McDowell was creepy, even though he wasn't in this movie all that much. But he was creepy as the doctor, the fan obsessed. Like, that's one of those things about this film that's like, you go, just everyone is either making money off of these celebrities or is obsessed and wants to do things, including the point, the whole, like, the scumbag that kind of gets his character, Sid's character, like, into things and kind of it seems to be the one kind of like, yeah. He's selling celebrity muscle tissue, and you're just like,
it's literally a parasocial relationship. Like, we talk about parasocial relationships within influencer culture and just whatever, like in different types of,
this is a parasocial
like,
relationship with yourself.
Yes. But it's literally a parasocial relationship because of just how, God dang it, I was on a path and now it's gone. That's okay.
You're talking about
cool.
the butcher guy who in the parasocial relationship and how like he's using but there was part of that too. I mean, this isn't probably what I was talking about, but when it comes to the butcher guy, we were having a conversation in Discord because we watched it together in Discord, and we were discussing like the morality, but also the legality of, like, yes, they have things that are, under a non-compete. So like anything Hannah can only go to this one company. But my question was, okay, like, obviously there's the piracy aspect of it and the black market side of it. But then you have these companies that are selling this like cloned skin and cloned muscle, like Avid's meat shop. Yeah.
Obviously, celebrities aren't going to get a kickback from that.
Yeah.
But they will from selling their viruses. So it comes down to this whole idea of like, where does their own version of like DMCA and copyright lie, and how do you as a society govern that?
Yeah. It's a very like, it's a interesting thought process and into like, what we live in a world where like we're going to go back to AI again, where you can, I saw someone like I don't know who it was one of the technology things on Instagram or somewhere, was talking about how you can like basically talk to your iPhone for a little bit and then it will like,
it's gonna be her,
like,
eh?
It turns into like you're the one talking through your iPhone, like stuff like that. And like, I mean, what was it like last year?
Oh, sorry, go ahead.
No, I was going to say, all I was saying was, what was it last year, that streamer who got caught jerking off to like deep fakes of other streamers, that kind of stuff. It's like, that stuff's already happening.
Yeah. Well, that's it. Yesterday, somebody came into chat and I was talking about that I was setting up my Fansly, and he was like, oh yeah, by the way, great DP over there. My brain immediately jumped to deepfake and AI. So did everybody else's in the chat, because I was like, what the fuck are you talking about? And so I sat there for a while and I was like, I'm going to start crying. Like, I don't even know what's happened.
Yeah.
And he was like, I meant your display picture. And I was like, nobody says DP for display picture. He's like, I don't know what you're talking about. What does DP mean? And so I'm on the front page and I can't be like, yo, it means double fucking penetration, my guy.
It's all I can think of is, I don't know if you've ever seen the episode of Brooklyn Nine-Nine where the Boyle's getting married and he hands out his STDs, his save the dates, when he calls them, here's my STD.
Oh my God. Some people are just fucking tone deaf.
No, it's not even that. It's just like their brains don't go.
Yeah.
No, it's just,
like the guy that came in chat, he was like, well, I'm from a different country. Like, this is how we say it. And then I had friends who were like, I am also from that country. That is not what we say. And he's like, I don't feel welcomed here. And I was like,
yeah, you just got
but you
called
are
out.
welcomed here. But like DP, for the record, does not mean that. Just like there's a show in town that for their website starts out with DP. And we've told them for years, that does not mean what you think it means. And they do not listen. So I guess as perverted individuals, because we're the only ones who would think of such a thing.
Well, it's
we'll just
the problem. The problem is, like, we've all had the internet for more than half of our lives. Like, when we were like teenagers and like adults, we had the internet, and the internet has always like been a place where that kind of stuff is like the first like place that shit jumps to. And it's just like, yeah, it is, yeah, all of it. And it's an interesting concept of like what it wrapped back around, like what is ours, what can be ours. And the fucking, this movie, the writer's strike, it all happening at the same time. And it's just like, I mean, obviously
this movie didn't happen at the same time.
I meant we're talking about it right now. That's what I meant, is what I was trying to say. It's
everything is happening at the same time.
It is. Time is a flat circle, Josh, as Matthew McConaughey taught us on that show. True. What the fuck?
Time is a
True
construct.
Detective. But yeah, it's just it. That's why I love what Cronenberg does. He always presses these like thought processes into your head of like of what, because the world is weird and the world is strange and technology is wonderful and can do amazing things, but it can also be perverted, because guess who uses technology? Humans. And that's the thing. Like as I was saying before, humans will do anything. Not all humans, but a lot of humans will do anything they can to make money. That's why sex trafficking is such a problem. That's why hitmen are a problem. That's why, because these people do not care about anyone else. They only care about themselves. That was all the bad guys in this movie. That the guy who got his machine fried because of this whole process, and then it was like, okay, I got fucked over because I stole something out of this dude. I love how they blame Sid. They're like, they took him, held him down, stole a bunch of his blood, and they get mad at him because
you owe me.
And it's like, but because he had already figured out that this, I mean, he didn't know why it did, but the blood blew his machine up. That's one of those things about this movie that was like my hardest sleep for Sid in particular, where he goes and gets this blood from this actress, and before bringing it back, injects. Yeah, the blonde, the pretty blonde from the poster, injects himself with her blood, and doesn't know what she's even sick with. That is the part among all of this that I was like, dude, you did this to yourself. You literally took a sick woman's blood and injected it into yourself because it could make you a couple bucks. A couple bucks. Josh, you are...
There was
bonkers.
something that we were talking about regarding, and I don't remember where it came about, so I apologize. But at some point, were we discussing like age guidelines and porn at some point in this? Or did I just dive into a deep end somewhere?
I think you probably dove into that in a deep end somewhere.
Okay. I had something to share, but I thought that it was linked to something we were talking about. I mean, but, I've zoned out in the last 5 minutes, so.
I mean,
so have I.
No offense. No, Rod, I was with you, but as soon as you said something about it, I was like, oh, I want to find this and confirm that this is true. Yeah. And then during that time, I kind of lost
it's
my
okay.
topic.
There's a lot of, it's just I'm bouncing around from modern day world to this movie and the stuff happening in this film and like how it all kind of ties in. I've talked about, and we talked about it on the podcast many times now, that the thing that horror does, it gives you an insight into a society's like fears, right? It gives you the fears, and that's why foreign horror isn't the same as American horror or like.
Yeah, it depends on who's making it, where it's made. Honestly, what is like influencing the mass in that particular period of time. It really, I love that. I forget what we were talking about. I think it was like when we were deep diving into the Japanese horror, and we were like, wait, when was this made? Because you can see the influence that a lot of other movies have had on. It doesn't matter what genre. Like The Matrix, I feel like The Matrix had a bunch of stuff going on in this movie as well, right?
Yeah.
Like you can't do anything like dystopian or sci-fi without like a cue from The Matrix being a part of it and stuff. So
the screen, the little personal machines that they're using in this are very like they're very thrown together, which is like a very Matrix thing, because you have to you don't have a world where you could go to a Best Buy anymore in the Matrix, right? You're like scrounging together parts and everything like that, and that's like what these guys are doing. That like Sid's machine is like one that was going to get thrown away or whatever, like, or be put into storage. Yeah. And so he basically janks it together. And that's why that the guy who kidnaps him at the end, his machine is like a bunch of like spare parts put together, because they're doing all this shit on the black market, right? They're doing this stuff in the underground, and it's the thing in and that's the thing in society in general, right? Like if people want something, they're going to get it. That's why banning abortions isn't going to stop people from getting abortions. That's why banning drugs isn't going to stop people from getting drugs. These people want. Kim?
This ties in back to what we were talking about, because I remembered what it was.
Go,
so as far as people doing what they want regardless, Utah, and a few other states, because now the AP wants to hide everything I was looking at. They have decided that there is too much filth and lewd depictions being brought into their minds. So they are proposing, and a law was passed requiring in these states for websites like Pornhub and whatnot to require someone to enter their name and show their driver's license or form of identification to verify their age to be able to utilize the site. Now, first of all, obviously, people are going to get around that. At this moment, we have VPNs. Are they going to fight with them? Maybe. Who knows? But can you just imagine, like, same concept, right? Like, people are going to do what they want to do. They're going to find ways to circumvent it. Like, there's no, like, keep pushing and we'll bring back other stuff. You know, it's not difficult. It's just first of all, if you have a problem with it, teach your kids actual sex education and move on with your life. But second of all, it's just a power trip. Like everything right now is such a power trip. And it just goes back to it. Like, we will MacGyver something together to get around it, just like Sid MacGyvered around to get his decommissioned machine that he had pulled out in pieces. Yeah.
It's because people are willing to pay stuff. People are going to provide it, right? Again, drugs, sex. I mean, anything. The dark web is a place where you could find basically anything you want. You can find hitmen. You can find most people like us. I'm never going to try to go on the dark web because I don't want to
Nope.
That shit scares me. But that's the kind of place where you can get wherever you want. It's just like that butcher shop where Ken was you were talking about how they're not getting paid for this. Like it's a little hole in the wall butcher shop that isn't it's too small in this whole world of everything that these corporations are doing all this big stuff. It's not big enough to catch itself on the radar, but it's still, there's a demand. And that's why It's why that's Malcolm McDowell's character has those patches that Josh brought up earlier, and those patches of these celebrities he's like obsessed with. And he went to, I think he says he went to Germany, right, or he went to Europe or something like that to get those patches. So it's like people will go and do things and wherever they want and do whatever, and it's why like I'm always completely, or I don't know always, but for a long time now I've been up the idea that banning things doesn't make the world safer. It makes, because people are gonna, like I said, they're gonna still get this stuff. That's why I think drugs should be decriminalized. I think that prostitution should be decriminalized. I think prostitution should be illegal at this point, because it takes that shit out of the shadows. It's why people like during Prohibition were going blind from drinking bathtub gin. We are not a species that when we're told no, we listen. And it's why the certain spectrum of the political sphere that goes, yeah, we want to move back. The bullshit with like, we want to move back to family values bullshit. No, you want people to be not educated. That's why they're burning books and taking books away. And that's why they're fucking wanting to move backwards in time, because then it's easier to control the masses. Information, all this stuff. It's
in the game.
It's in the game, Josh. It enlightens people, and it makes you like, when you're aware of things, you're going to be more concerned. You're going to be more interested. You're going to be more like scared. All these things. Knowledge is scary, but knowledge is power, you know? And it's just like, and this thing that these people, like their knowledge of the celebrities and that all these things, it just is misused to take advantage of others and do all this stuff, all because it's not legal to do all the shit they're doing. And it just wraps around, but it's like, just telling people no and telling people that, I don't know, it's weird, man, because you think about it. I think about things like Idiocracy. Idiocracy, when that movie came out, was like, oh my God, this movie is just like so far-fetched. Look what 20 years later, and you go, oh, I mean, we've been saying that for a while now, but it's just like, and a lot of the stuff in this movie is like, seems outlandish, but really, is it? Like,
that's where I completely disagree. I don't feel like it feels outlandish at all. I feel like it is not too far off where the future could go. Like I said at the beginning, if a couple things go a certain way and are more allowed, it could literally get to this sick level very easily. And yeah, I don't know.
Well, that's what it, like, kind of like in this same vein, it goes back to the topic that I was talking about a couple weeks ago with that politician who had been providing funding to try to clone his child that had died at a very young age from like SIDS or something like that. Yeah. I mean, like, all it would take would be just a little bit of One Direction, and not the band, but just a little in one direction. And then the next thing you know, we're in some type of realm of this.
Yeah. It's why like people in power are like, it's hard to trust people in power because they're moving things. They're moving like
everyone has their own agenda, regardless of who's in power, what you're doing. Everyone is looking out for their cat and not you. So,
but having that own agenda while making the rules is the problem, right? It's like when you have an agenda and you're also setting up the rules. Why are you setting up the rules? You don't know why anyone's doing anything that they're doing. You don't know it. Like, that's the thing, right? So it's just
to go like on a weird connection. I'm gonna connect that to PTA people, because your PTA parents are gonna be the ones who fight like hell to get in front of people to work their own agenda, which is to get their kids into certain things and get them recognized for better chances in the future.
Right.
Well. We live in a world where there are plenty of parents, and this is all connected too, that use their children for they're not to make their children's lives better, not necessarily sometimes, but sometimes they
use them as pawns.
To make themselves feel better, to make themselves, feel more like important,
I know this.
Right?
I fucking know this.
Oh yeah, you do know that. My bad.
Josh knows about parents using their children as pawns. Where do we know these things that we're discussing now? But this film is like Cronenberg does such a good job of like I said, like he does that thing where he analyzes these situations and just makes them feel like Josh. I wasn't saying it far-fetched in like that it couldn't be done. It's not something that like is happening right this second, right? It's not something that you could see happening tomorrow, but like in a year, 2 years, you get a company that was selling, like decided that they would sell. Like
you don't know, man. You just said you don't want to go on the dark web. You don't know if it's already fucking. This is where it would start, and then if it starts to go well, and some company that understands that if you package something a certain way, it will get to you to that next level. And that whole thing that happened with that, they just did a biopic about it where she said she knew how to create this thing where you only needed a tiny bit of blood, and then she got like $1 billion evaluation, and it was all a fraud, and now she's like in jail and stuff. Like that shit happened.
Man, that spicy Cheetah movie got dark. That's one. Man, in 2023, the year of weird biopic pictures about like people who did like very, very, very specific things. The Cheetos and the BlackBerry and the Nike.
Now there's going to be a Beanie Baby movie. Did you see that trailer?
Yeah, that's
hell yeah.
Yeah, Beanie Baby.
I really
So
hope that
wait,
they cover...
guys, are you going to Oppenheimer or Barbie? Are you going to see either?
Oh,
Or
I would
are
see
you good?
Oppenheimer if I go. I don't know if I'm going to go or not, but
Because it's the meme right now. Like Warner Brothers was trying to like say fuck you to Nolan, and every time Nolan would put out a trailer, Barbie would it as well, and it became a meme now. It's like Barbenheimer or something or whatever.
Yeah.
And people are gonna like do a double feature because they're coming out on the same day, and it's like it's giving Oppenheimer free publicity every time Barbie is said anything. People talk about Oppenheimer every single time right beside it. So it's like
every time I see the Oppenheimer commercial or trailer, though, I laugh at Matt Damon going, "This is the most important thing that's ever happened." And
but can we just talk about this though? Like, because Christopher Nolan is one of the only filmmakers that can dictate like every single aspect of what he's doing, and it's finally a trailer that doesn't reveal and doesn't show you third act fucking bullshit. And like the whole movie, like Fast 10's trailer, I was like, what the fuck? And after seeing the movie, it literally showed you the whole movie. And I'm so sick of trailers doing that. And Oppenheimer is the first out of the gate in like fucking 5 years that is like, it's old school. It's completely Christopher Nolan. It doesn't reveal anything. It's nothing but teasers to get you whatever hyped. I'm super hyped. I'm going to go see it in IMAX 70 millimeter because that's
all I want to know.
The only thing about it is that we know what
true
happens.
Story, exactly.
In Oppenheimer, other than the dramatized part of it, which there is a lot.
If you look on IMDb, which I have, a lot of people don't understand how many other big names are in the movie and stuff, and that's not revealed in the trailer. So if you're not IMDb deep diving like I do with everything, you're not going to know this information, and it's not revealed. So there's a lot of like things that can be, for a crowd in that movie regardless.
Josh,
but I'm talking about the history of the whole situation.
Yeah, of course. He Hiroshima.
Josh, but I have to ask you. They do show what I think is going to be the third act, which is the what's happening afterwards, and like how Oppenheimer is basically like annihilated with guilt afterwards. But does Oppenheimer have a scene where they're talking about beaching each other off? Because I mean, if that
just see both. That's all I'm getting at. Which one are you going to see first?
Oppenheimer.
I wouldn't go see. I wouldn't go see Barbie in the movie theater. I'll watch it, but I'm not gonna go.
I want to go see both in the theaters. I'm excited for both. They both look like they're going to be fucking a good time at the movies, regardless.
I'm probably
like
gonna,
two
I'm probably
completely
gonna go
different times.
yeah.
But this is what I grew up and love about movies. Like both of them completely differently. This is what it's about. Like in a fucking year where Batman came back, and like there's another Mission Impossible. There's none of those fucking movies. Indiana Jones is even fucking back. Who gives a shit? This is the only weekend of this whole year that actually matters.
I'm going to see Mission Impossible this weekend. So.
I want to see Mission Impossible as well, but I'm just saying, in the grand scheme of the whole year, it's weird that these two movies, original pieces, not other fucking sequels, requels, and bullshit. This is what I'm talking about for me.
Josh,
I'm a movie guy.
I love how you you went like Fast and Furious, like jumping bridges with your car to get from Antiviral to Barbie. And
we're talking about fucking movies, and we're keeping it current. Whatever, man. It's past the 45-minute mark. I don't give a fuck anymore. We all know this.
Anymore, you've been like you're like a little kid playing with your like kaleidoscope for the whole.
It has been a fun episode. It's been fun, okay? You know you've had fun, right? You've had fun.
Josh.
Hi.
Josh. You know how there's like standard and IMAX? What does PLF mean?
I have no clue.
Interesting. Okay.
I bet you could.
I know there was one person that was beside me in an IMAX theater that had a audio impairment, and they put up this weird screen in front of them that put subtitles in front of themselves. It was
premium
really cool.
Large format used to describe IMAX. Oh, okay. Cool.
But nice. The thing is if you look at your IMAX, some of them are going to be formatted for IMAX, and it will be like a whatever, and other ones will have the 11 whatever fucking miles of 70 millimeter, and the one by my house has the 70 millimeter print. So I'm more excited because it's an actual film that I'll be seeing and not a digital output onto an IMAX.
Right.
I love that there's filmmakers that still do that. I'm obsessed with Christopher Nolan and his whole team and stuff. It's pure.
Well, it's interesting because all the I thought there were horror movies coming out this month, like that like Don't Talk, whatever the fuck that was called. The only like horror movie I've seen getting
Talk to Me.
Yeah, Don't Talk to Me. That I have not seen.
What happened to Boogeyman? I thought that was. Is that out?
That was
came out
a few months
month
ago.
Yeah, that came out in like May or something.
When are we gonna get a digital copy of that? I want to fucking do that on the show.
I don't know. I want to see it. But like,
I didn't even see it go to theaters, to be honest. So
it didn't get any fucking press when it did. I think the only horror trailer I've seen lately is I guess Nun 2 came out. I mentioned that last week, but like that trailer. But like the Five Nights at Freddy's one was the one that got the most discussion because of how big that is and like for kids. So I don't know. I don't know what else is like the next big horror movie that's like launching is going to be. I mean, especially
an unscary generic horror flick with ineffective jump scares and poor monster design. Apparently, is what this guy says about the Boogeyman.
Boogeyman. I heard good things.
It's okay. I mean, I saw it.
Did
you did?
Yeah, I saw it when it came out.
I don't know, man. It's funny because of like all this stuff. It like horror. As I saw people calling out Halloween here in the last week of how many days till Halloween, I'm psyched to get more horror movies coming back because I feel like we haven't got as many horror movies this year as last year, even though we started off well, and there's been some good ones. But
apparently, there's a sequel to Bird Box that just came out. It's on Plex, and I don't want to watch it, but I'm just saying.
Is it on Netflix, I assume? Yeah.
The new Insidious movie came out.
Yeah.
Cobweb, which I hadn't heard of. Sympathy for the Devil has Nicolas Cage in it.
Yeah.
Haunted Mansion, The Nun 2. Oh, these are a little bit further out.
Yeah. It's been weird. I mean, everything's been weird. Like entertainment wise. Okay. I'm gonna
We're in a
wrap
weird
up.
void, though.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's weird because of the coverage and all the stuff and the like. I don't know. Have you like? Am I the only one who's been watching Secret Invasion at all? Because that
No, I've been
intro is
watching
just-
it. It's
Is I hate it. I hate the intro so badly. The AI
Yes.
intro.
Wait,
But
what is Secret
the
Invasion?
show.
The Marvel show about
Oh.
like the scrolls and shit like that. But the intro is all done in AI.
I think it's a
so-
better Marvel show that than a lot of the other ones, but at the same time, that like cookie cutter like conveyor belt feel that everything fucking Marvel has, this has as well. And I'm just like, I don't even know, but
it'll be interesting. Okay.
Sam Jackson's
Antiviral-
just good though, so he's good to watch.
Yeah, it's true. Antiviral though, I would say watch it. And, we talk about body horror. I want to say I think that the only before we wrap up, the only part of this movie that's kind of like I think would make a lot of people kind of is a lot of the stuff at the very end of the movie, especially the arm, the weird
Yeah.
they took the hyperbolic chamber and have a weird fake arm in it. I still don't know what he was doing.
The reason why
sucking-
this movie works so well is that it's a drama that is, has some horror wrapper around it with a bow
Yeah.
on top, and that's why it works so well, and why it's still a good movie, and it has rewatchability because of I don't know. There's a journey that these characters are going on, but there's not a lot of satisfaction, and I think that's why, like the indie feel and the indie vibes are just so fucking good in this. It can live on my shelf, and I would love to go back into this movie again some other time, which is weird because I don't normally like that, especially like body horror stuff. I'm not a huge fan of body horror, but I fucking really like this movie.
Well, I feel like in the next while, when Infinity Pool starts hitting more masses because it's out on digital and you buy it and rent it and shit now, that this and Possessor are gonna pick up more traction because they're gonna oh, what else has this guy done? And Cronenberg. I wanted to say one more thing. Did either one of you? And this is not a bad thing. It's actually a super a huge compliment. This whole movie felt like he did on a very, very small budget, but made it look way more.
Yeah, I felt that
because everything with those white scenes and all that stuff, you could tell he didn't have a lot of money, but he made it work so well for him.
He understands aesthetics and just design.
Yeah,
set design and stuff.
They
He
had
fucking
a
killed
budget of 3.3 million Canadian. Oppenheimer has $100 million for its budget.
Yep. And it will make it's going to make a bajillion because Oppenheimer's rated PG-13 too, right?
It is rated. It doesn't.
It's rated See It.
R. It's rated R. It's
Is it?
3 hours long.
That's a long movie.
I love that.
That was my thought too. I'm like, man, I really want to see this, but now I'm like, ugh.
Do you guys have any ideas on what you want to watch next week? Because the only movie that I've been kind of keeping in the back of my head for a while now is Martyrs. Because Martyrs is.
I just downloaded The Burning. I would love to go into The Burning.
Oh God, the 80s, dude, that movie is got some crazy scenes in it. So what do you want to watch, Ken?
I'm good with whichever. The Burning sounds cool.
That's very much up your alley of
It's a
very-
slasher. It's like the Friday the 13th movies
Rip-off.
of the 80s. Yeah.
It's got
Yeah.
some scenes in it, man. Yeah, I'm down with it. I've seen it. It's on Shudder, or it was on Shudder. And
I
so
love the
it's
fucking poster.
Yeah, it's a good one. Okay, we'll do The Burning next week.
There's another one that
Anything
just
else?
came out called Quicksand. That's a Shudder original that I don't know anything about except that it's in front of me right now.
There's another one I'm interested in called Brooklyn 45, I think is what it's called, or Brooklyn something like that, by the guy who did We're Still Here or whatever that movie was called. So I'm interested in that.
There's
but
also the resurrection of Charles Manson.
no. Also, I rated Katie, and we got to make sure after my stream, we're gonna have to make sure we get her and go get a
Well, if
episode with
by
her.
the time she comes on, Meg 2 might be out, and we could actually fucking just do Meg 2, because I would love for that to be the reason she comes
Dude,
on.
that movie looks wild, and why are there dinosaurs in it? But like,
Come on, let's go. Statham and Shark.
Okay.
I'm in.
Okay, so next week, Burning. From what year is the Burning?
1981.
81.
Okay, can we
cool.
just
Yeah,
say also, because The Flash is now on digital, and it ended its theatrical run with less box office than Green Lantern. And I just thought that was a ridiculous tidbit of information that I had to
and
bring
it's
up.
way better than Green Lantern.
It's
way
really good.
better than Green Lantern. Yeah.
But
It's-
not the Polar Express fucking CGI.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Okay. Next week, The Burning. Go to murdermoose.com. Go to YouTube and type in Murder Moose Podcast and find us and follow us there. Watch these episodes. And yeah, check out everything. Continue at kintinue.com. Go to stdmotel.com, stdhotel.com, only nouns, and quaintaint.com. And
We picked
follow
up another one today.
What's the new one?
Continue.fit.
Continue.fit. There you go. God, because I need more things to remember every week with that.
You don't have to say them all.
JoshWRB.com, and where he, shows like his.
WRBdesign.co.
There you go. There you go. And I'm Ryan_Johnston on Twitter and whatever, every place, Twitch, all those things. So follow me there. Guys, I love the shit out of you. Even my annoying little brother Josh and his whatever the fuck he's doing. I got to go to bed. I'm fucking exhausted. So I will catch you guys next week for The Burning. I love you guys. So have a good one. And bye.
Bye.
Bye.